Hi, fifth graders. Welcome back to Second Step. Today we're going to be going over Lesson 6 of the program. Lesson 6 is about accepting differences. So let's go ahead and get started with our lesson. So to start this lesson, I'm going to lay out a scenario for you guys, and I want you to tell me what you think after. So let's pretend that we are at school and we're in the classroom and it's almost recess time. And I say, okay, those of you that were born in or you have a birthday in September, October, November, or December, you get to go to recess early. Those of you that do not have birthdays in those months, you have to stay in and do extra math and get a little more practice. You probably need the practice because you're younger than the other students. How would that make you feel? I'll give you a couple seconds to think about it. I definitely agree with you. I would be angry and I would be really upset that other kids got to go to recess early and I had to stay in and do extra math because my birthday wasn't in those months. So if you also thought that scenario was unfair, you're absolutely correct, and I agree with you. I've made the judgment that all younger students need help on their math or they need extra math practice. I've made the judgment that all children who are younger need extra help without really knowing or checking to see if this was true. So this brings me to the title of our second step lesson today, accepting differences. Today we're going to talk about how we can accept differences that we have between one another, and we're going to talk about how we can find similarities between each other to establish and form respectful relationships with people who might be different from us. When we're able to find similarities between one another and we accept each other's differences for who we are and the things that we do, we're able to avoid being prejudiced. We're able to avoid those opinions and judgments that we have about one another, and we learn how to get along and work together. So now you guys will have the opportunity to watch a video about two boys named Miguel and Caden. And as you watch this video, I want you to see if you can find any similarities, things that are the same, or any differences, things that are different between the two boys.
It was Saturday, and my dad and I were going to a game. He needed to stop by the office on the way. I told him I could hang out if he needed work for a little while. When we got there, the office wasn't empty. Another lady had come to the office and brought her son. The weird coincidence was I knew the kid. His name is Miguel, and he's in my class. I didn't know Miguel's mom worked with my dad. Miguel's really shy. His family just moved here from Mexico at the beginning of the year. His English wasn't too good at first, but it's getting better. Still, he mostly hangs out with other kids who speak Spanish. They kind of stick together and play soccer at recess. I sat down near him, but he barely looked at me. I think he felt kind of uncomfortable. I felt kind of weird too because I'm not really used to having to make new friends. I have a pretty tight group of friends at school, and I guess I don't really think much about other kids.
So after watching this video, were you guys able to find some differences between the two boys? I'll give you a couple seconds to think about it, or you can talk with your peers about it if your teacher allows you to. So after watching this video, I found a couple of differences between the two boys. First, the boys look very different from one another. I also noticed that Miguel is actually from a different country, and they both have different friends. Those are some of the differences that I found between the boys. So now let's talk about the similarities between the two boys. What were some things that you saw that were the same? I'll give you a couple seconds to think about it. So one of the first things that you might have noticed is they're both boys. They both go to the same school, and their parents work at the same job. So sometimes it can be easy to judge or be prejudiced towards others because of what somebody looks like on the outside. Sometimes we might have the tendency to not want to hang out with somebody because they look a different way. But the truth is, we're all different. Some of us are tall, some of us are short, some of us have braces. We all come from different places, different homes, and different backgrounds. But being different is what makes all of us beautiful and is what makes all of us very unique in our own way. And although we may seem very different from one another on the outside, there are things that we may have in common on the inside, but we just don't know it. I bet there are lots of similarities that you can find with somebody else who doesn't think the same way you do or doesn't look the same way you do. And when you find out the similarities you have between one another, you'll get really excited. I get really excited when I find out that I have something in common with somebody else that I didn't know I did. So now let's watch this second video to find out what Miguel and Caden find out about each other.
It got kind of uncomfortable just sitting there, not talking, so I decided to say something. I asked him what he was looking at, and he showed me his comic book. I really like comic books, and this one was really cool. The words were in Spanish, but you could tell what was going on by the pictures. Then I showed Miguel this game I had on my phone. It was kind of a math game. He thought it was pretty cool too. Turns out, he's really good at math, like me. I didn't think Miguel and I would have anything in common, but turns out that we do. My dad and his mom were talking, and we found out that we don't live too far from each other. His mom invited me to come over after school one day next week. I think that'll be fun.
So what did the boys find out about one another? I'll give you a couple seconds to think about it. So after watching this video, you'll notice that the boys both like math, comic books, and they also found out that they live near one another. And it looks like they're getting along really well. And remember, like I told you, it's kind of exciting when you find out that somebody has similar interests like you. You can see in the video that both of the boys seem to be getting along really well and are actually a little bit excited that they like some of the same things. So does this mean that the boys can be friends? Absolutely. They can definitely be friends. Although they are different, they accept each other for who they are, and they get along because they found things that are the same. So what I'd like you guys to do today, when you have the chance, maybe after school or maybe even this evening, is to write down a couple of your friends' names. It could be 1, 2, 3 friends. And I want you to write down how you guys met. Was it on the playground? Was it in the classroom? Maybe your parents knew each other. And I want you to think about how those conversations began and what was it that initially connected you guys? What were the similarities that you found between each other? And the reason why I want you to do this is because I want you to think back on using those skills and to look at how you were able to talk to somebody and how you were able to initiate a friendship and a conversation with somebody else. So why is it so important to accept differences that we see in one another, and also really important to find similarities and things we have in common with other people? I'll give you a couple seconds to think about it. So these things are really important in life, and not only for you as a student, but for myself as an adult, because this is going to help us respect one another. I know we talk about that so much, but it's just really important that we respect one another, and it also creates a better learning environment for you in the classroom when we can do this. And it's also helpful for everyone when we can see past what other people look like and really get to know a person for who they are and not judge everything based on how somebody looks. I want you guys to practice some of these things. If there's somebody that you've thought about wanting to talk to, but you're a little hesitant because maybe they primarily speak a different language at home, or they just kind of do things differently than you, I encourage you to try to reach out and see if you're able to find anything in common with that person. Thank you guys so much for participating today. You guys did an awesome job. I can't wait to do another one with you guys next week. Have a great rest of the week, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.